Hello, this is Papa B and Mama B coming back to you after a week's absence because last week the parenting center was closed on Friday and we had a day off there, so we didn't do a chat last
And
week.
it's nice to be back. And so today we want to talk to you about three resources that couples can use during the pandemic times, as well as all that's going on with families at this time.
And what we're wanting to do is to build this from a source, a resource that has been so meaningful to us, what we would call our mentors in marriage enrichment. David and Vera Mace, and we wrote this book, The Marriage Pioneers, which really cites all of these three resources that Bobby just mentioned.
And besides that, the times that the Maces, David and his wife Vera, developed this was very similar to our own. They got married in England in 1933, and they decided that their life's work would be to help couples and thus families do their jobs better in the world. It was not to be therapy, it was not to be counseling, it was just practical life experiences that they could share that couples need to deal with. So the way it's like our own times is by 1938, they were well into an established program. They called it the Marriage Guidance Council.
And that was in London, England. And it went so well there that it became the Marriage Guidance Council of England. Then it became, because of invitations, the Marriage Guidance Council of Australia, of South Africa, and all the English-speaking countries of the world began to do these things.
Right. But that was 1938. By 1939, England was at war, having just come out of a bad economy, so bad that they were calling it the Great Depression, sort of like one we're experiencing here. And so they tried to keep it going, but the war got so bad that Vera was going to bring her two little daughters across the ocean to some friends in America, and she did. But Pearl Harbor happened while she was here, and all Atlantic travel was prohibited. And so
they traveled by ship during those days, not by airplane.
That's true. And so she was here, and they only had letters to keep their relationship going and to keep the family close. And they did it. So we're experiencing a kind of pioneer time as they did.
Yeah, we have more options in communication. We don't limit ourselves to letters, but we have the cell phone, we have the internet, we have different ways, email, ways to communicate with our family and our friends, our loved ones. But they did what they could, and now we're trying to do the same. We're even using Zoom a lot with our to stay connected.
Yes, but these resources are so practical and so helpful to families. We've used them for years, and so today we'd like to just share in case they could be helpful to couples and thus families today.
Good.
The first one, they said, that would help a family stay close and help a family survive difficult times is a mutual commitment to the growth of relationships.
And each one of those words is important. It needs to be mutual. It's not, we turn this over to you, Bobby, and
yeah, if you want it to work, you just be nice.
Yeah, right. Or just it doesn't have to be mutual. It just you do it, and then we'll have a better marriage.
Well, I think the second word, commitment, is important too.
Okay.
Because it says that my attitude toward what we're trying to accomplish, a close, loving family relationship, is important. I read somewhere that it's not so much what happens to me that is important as what I do with what happens to me.
Yes, and it needs that if we really want a healthy relationship, each of us in our own way needs to be intentional about it,
Right.
which is an indication that we are committed to the concept or to the idea that we want a healthy relationship.
Well, the third word, mutual commitment, and the third word is to growth. This is,
Yes.
we're going to accomplish something together. We are a unique family. Maybe it's just a family of two, but there's not anybody like us in the world. And so, what is it that we want to accomplish? So, setting some goals and moving toward those goals together.
We're talking about individual growth as well as couple growth.
Right, but it sets our sails in a certain direction, and it gives life and interest to the relationship when we're both trying to accomplish things that make us happy and feel useful in the world, but also make our couple relationship grow and flourish and be happy.
You know, that stops at about retirement age, doesn't it?
Well, it turns out that this principle lasts a lifetime.
Yes, right. We're still growing.
We are examples of still learning and still setting goals.
Yes, we are learning things these days that they've never were questions before. So we have new questions as we get older, and we have to continue to grow and benefit from.
Well, the thing is, a happy couple relationship produces a happier family relationship.
Right.
Another thing I read recently about that's so surprising is that now research into healthy relationships is showing us that it affects our physical health.
Right.
And one surprising thing I read in a Time magazine article was that a happy growing relationship at middle age is just as important as checking your blood pressure is for producing health in old age. So this is a nice resource to draw on, but it's having surprising results in old age in that it helps us stay healthier when we have a happy, stable relationship at home.
And we're already in the old age category.
Well, we certainly are. Everybody can tell. And then it's not even funny that we're Mama B and Papa B in these chats. We obviously have great grandchildren.
Right.
Well, that's one thing, the mutual commitment to growth. But a second resource that couples can grow on that the Maces designed
and the second one and the third one help us grow. They're ways to
they're
help
sort of
us.
skills that affect the attitude, the intentionality, I like your word, to grow. These are skills that help that happen. And the first one is to pay attention to how you talk to each other.
Now, find a way to talk with each other that enhances the relationship. Everybody, there's a statement by one therapist that says you cannot not communicate, meaning that you're going to have communication in one way or the other. Some is destructive, some is inconsistent, some is not going to get you anywhere. But if you could design something that works for the two of you, and you have a healthy way to communicate, with the goal being that when I'm sharing with you, Bobby, I want you to understand what I'm saying.
Well, let's just take a moment to say, what is one thing that we've learned about communication that works for us?
Well, one thing is that we speak positive. And we are hopeful in the way we talk to each other, and that we listen to what the other person says.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's more than one thing, but all those are good.
I didn't want to leave it out.
Well, one thing that I've learned about communication, and I have tried to help you see,
Okay.
is that I don't do well with criticism.
No, you don't.
So
And I've been good at criticism.
you have, but you've never wanted to call it criticism. When I called your hand on it,
Right.
it was education, it was suggestion,
Yeah.
it was reasonable information about something, how I work in the
Logical.
kitchen. Yes.
Common sense approach.
But it didn't matter to me what
No.
you called it. I was going to hear it as criticism.
Because you felt that.
Yes.
Therefore, you, by perceiving it, that's what it was.
And so when I could own up to it and tell you that I don't like it, we sought for other ways to accomplish the same goal without what I was experiencing as criticism.
I agree. And that's been very helpful to us.
So each couple sort of has to figure out their own ways of talking
Yes.
that get you what you want, which is growth in happiness and
And
growth in understanding.
But we'll talk about that on another occasion. But the thing that is key to it is that we listen to each other and we want to learn from each other. That's back to the word growth and the mutual commitment to growth.
Yes, and this can involve every family member as well.
Yes.
What works for the couple: encouragement, appreciation, honesty, listening, also works with the children in the home.
Yes. It is so true that when someone really gives you attention and they listen, the tendency is to tell them more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that should happen in relationships, in the family. I mean, what a wonderful thing to gift your children with listening ears and wanting to learn more of your children. It's such a rare moment and very important.
It is. And
Which our daughters did, by the way. They would come in after a date or something and just kneel down beside our bed late at night. Said,
it was all about the movie.
First thing they'd say, "Are you all asleep or awake?" Well, it didn't matter. We were already awake by that time. But they would just tell us all about the evening. And we thought, if you finish, we could go to sleep. But the beauty was that they wanted to tell us. And they still tell us as adults today that they want us to know what's going on in their lives, and they know we want to hear about it. And that's wonderful.
Yes, because we show that we listen and we care. And good talking is important in conveying that message that we love you and you are important, and we want you to know that we care about you. Just think of the Maces. When Vera and the two girls came to America and they only had letters.
Yes.
They only used words to keep their relationship going. They didn't have anything else for about 4 years.
And so they said at the conclusion of that separation that they had grown to love each other so much more during that time because they had conveyed so many feelings.
Mm-hmm. In the infrequent letters that were able to make it across the Atlantic. Well, that's two things they said. The third thing, and many couples we talk to find this the most helpful thing.
And the most important thing for most couples, if you have a way of handling this particular skill.
Right. And that is finding a strategy, finding a way that fits for both of you to handle disagreements that are going to be inevitable. And during these times when we're living very close to each other for
it's easy to rub each other
the
wrong way.
Yes, there are going to be disagreements. So getting a strategy and getting it when you're not in the midst of a disagreement and thus all stirred up, getting a strategy that fits for the two of you and setting that strategy so that both of you know what it is and agree on it, and then keeping to it is a great way to not only handle the disagreements that are going to come, but cut down on the disagreements that are there.
Yes, and it takes the communication aspect skill to if you have good communication, you have a better chance of working through the agreements. But beyond that, it is still part of mutually being committed to the relationship. And our mentor said, never waste a good conflict, because behind every conflict is a feeling that needs to be discovered, needs to be understood, and you will not finish or handle the conflict well until you get in touch with those feelings. So today we're just thrilled that you're back with us, and we enjoy this, but we look forward to next week, and hopefully
over the next 3 weeks, in fact, we're going to get into these 3 ideas or resources, as some people have called them, and explore with you how important they can be to families
and how they have helped us through these years. And so we see you next week.
So it's Mama B and Papa B saying good morning, and we hope to see you again soon.
Good. Bye.